Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to study about the person Babar Ali. This story is written by Samarpita Mukherjee Sharma. Samarpita Mukherjee Sharma. So, dear students, Babar Ali is the person is made so many changes in the West Bengal, and today we are going to learn about his achievements. Let me explain that. Babar Ali must be the youngest headmaster in the world. According to the author, Babar Ali is the youngest headmaster in the world. Youngest headmaster in the world. As he is only 16, he is only 16 years old. He is only 16 years old. Babar Ali is only 16 years old when he became the headmaster of that school. He is a teenager who is in charge of teaching hundreds of students in his family back. Babar Ali running classes for poor children in his family backyard. Where he runs? He runs in his family backyard. In his family backyard. Where he runs classes for poor children from his village. The story of this young man from Murshidabad in West Bengal. So this story is from Babar Ali's story is from Murshidabad. Murshidabad. It is in the West Bengal. It is in the West Bengal. So I mean this story is from West Bengal. A remarkable tale of the desire to learn the amidst dies poverty. Our Bangladesh best viral volunteer Tanvir would like to introduce you to this extraordinary change maker. Tanvir is the person who is going to introduce about Babar Ali's story to Samarpita Mukherjee Sharma. Now see, Babar wakes up every morning at 7 and start his day by doing some household chores. So actually Babar wakes up in the morning at 7 and he wakes up at 7 and doing by some household chores. Some household chores. Chores is nothing but small works at home is called chores. Small works at home. So he wakes up early in the morning by doing some household chores, and then he takes an auto rickshaw, first and later walks 5 kilometers to the Koshin Bazar Raj Govinda Sundar Vidyapit, where he is a class 12 student. Babar himself is a class 12 student. He himself is a student, and Babar is a thin and gangly boy who sits in the middle of the front row. And smart and austere in his blue and white uniform, Babar is a model student. Babar is a model student for all his villagers. He is a model student for all his villagers, for the poor students in that area. Babar is a model student. He is also the first member of his family to get a proper education. So, Babar is the first member from his family who is taking proper education. His parents were illiterate, but Babar wanted to change the things, change the situation where he lives. So that is why Babar Ali is called the remarkable change maker in the West Bengal, because as he is only 16 years old, he started his very own school and he started classes, and he was running his classes for poor children in his family back. So that's why Babar Ali is called a change maker, remarkable change maker in the West Bengal. In school he is an ideal student, but it is what he does after his school hours that introduces the entire world. After school hours, he himself is a 12th standard student. After school hours, he was busy with poor students, and he was running classes for their students. So that's why Babar Ali is an ideal student for all the villages. When every other teenager goes running off to the playground and gets busy with football, cricket and other sports, Babar makes his way to an afternoon school where he is the headmaster of school of 800 students. So in Babar Ali school, there are 800 students are learning. So it means what? Babar, when he started his school, so many things he has faced, but in spite of all those difficulties, Babar started his very own school, and now presently 800 students are learning in his school. Now see, welcome to the Babar Ali school. Now we are going to discuss about the Babar Ali school. Welcome to Babar Ali school. Welcome to Babar Ali's school. Behind the office is a gate that opens to Baba's home. That this is where the rows of poor and privileged kids sit under the open blue sky, learn what most children in the modern world pay hundreds of dollars for free. This is where 800 kids who are deprived from their basic right for education walk miles to learn free of cost the basics of fundamentals of life. So see, Babar Ali, he has not a proper building to his school, not a proper establishment, but still students are learning in the open sky. Under the blue sky, students are learning. 800 students are learning in his school. There is no proper establishment or there is no proper building for his school. So, there is no building. There is no building for his school. So let's take a minute over here and think while we went about our allowances. Professor was saying out loud, this average boy from a small village is actually helping to make this world a better place. Babar Ali wanted to change the situation where he lives. He lives in Murshidabad. So in Murshidabad, so many students are illiterate, and that's why he wanted to change the situation, and he is called remarkable change maker. So 800 students are physically learning in his school, and there is no establishment or there is no proper building for his school. Now see, one more thing. So he is a teenager, 16 years old boy. He wanted to change the situation and make this world to the better place. Today all around the world, where millions of children are being deprived from literacy because their families cannot bear the expenses. So mostly the Indian students, especially those who are living in remote areas, so that students or their family members, their parents are unable to bear the expenses of schools. So that's why most of the students are being deprived from this school. So Babar Ali wanted to change that, and that's why he started his very own school in Murshidabad village. So this one schoolboy from India is trying to change that, and so at the age of 16, Babar is the youngest headmaster. So concluding all these points, we can call that Babar is the youngest headmaster because so many changes are there in Murshidabad. Before Babar Ali, there was no students. There was no students. They are busy in study. But Babar Ali, when started his very own school, all the students are gets busy with education and books as well. Now see, Babar happens to be one of the fortunate souls in his village. Babar Ali is called the fortunate souls in his village. In his village. In Baba's neighborhood of Gangapur village in West Bengal's Murshidabad, Babar lives with his 3 siblings and his parents in a thatched house, which is the size of an average city kitchen. Babar Ali, he has very small home, he has very small family. He lives in Murshidabad with his 3 siblings. 3 siblings. So, he has very small family and a thatched house. Thatched house. Which is the size of an average city kitchen. Yet ironically, he is still among the privileged ones in his village because unlike most children there, he went to school and got formal education. Most of the students in schooling hours, they are wandering here and there because of their family members or their parents are not, they are not unable to bear the expenses. So that's why most of the students are wandering there. But Babar Ali is the only one student in that Murshidabad village who is trying to change that situation. So that's why Babar Ali is an ideal student, he is a model, and mostly he is a remarkable change maker. He was better off also being the son of Nasruddin Sen. Babar Ali's father name is Nasruddin Sen. Nasruddin Sheikh. Babar Ali's father name is Nasruddin Sheikh, and he is a jute seller. But Babar Ali's father is a very supportive person. His father believes that, Babar Ali's father Nasruddin Sheikh believes that education is nothing but education is man's true religion. He is very supportive in nature, so that's why he supports his son, he supports his son's achievements, he supports his son's dreams. So Nasruddin Sheikh is a jute seller, and he himself believes that education is nothing but education is a true religion. So according to Babar's father, education is the true religion. Very supportive in nature. He supports his son, and who initially supported his son's venture with his own income. Coming from a privileged family, Babar realized that he must do something for the other children in this village. So he wanted to change the situation, and he wants to do something for the society, he wants to do something for the poor children. So that's why, with his father's support, Babar Ali started his very own school, and his father, he is a jute seller, and he believes that education is nothing but education is a true religion. And even though children are provided free education, sending children to school is not entirely free of cost. Although the children are taught for free, they still have to pay for uniforms, books, etc. That is why a lot of families cannot afford to send their children to school. Thus, instead of going to school, you know that I already told you people, most of the children wandering here and there meaninglessly, aimlessly. But Babar Ali guided them, supported them to sit in the school and learn. And finally, most of the students are busy with Babar school, busy with the study. And you know that most of the students boys are working as a mechanics, day laborers, grass cutters, whereas girls are working as maid servants. They were cooking, cleaning, washing the clothes for their employees. So Babar Ali wanted to change that, and he changed that situation in Murshidabad. Now see, servants in his village, they were cook, clean and wash clothes and dishes for their employees. Babar Ali wanted to change this. That is why he took the initiative of opening his very own school. He took that initiation to start his very own school because he wanted to change the situation. Mostly students are wandering aimlessly, so that's why he started his very own school and he took the initiation. Now see, Babar Ali's school name is Anand Shiksha Niketan, where he was teaching to the students. His Babar Ali school name is Anand Shiksha Niketan. Anand Shiksha Niketan. Babar Ali actually started his school at the mere age of 9. Now look at that. When Babar was only 9 years old, he started his very own school. He was only 9 years old. In fact, his school Anand Shiksha Niketan grew out of a gate. So gradually, Babar Ali tried to explain how he initially started teaching. So Babar Ali, initially, he has faced so many difficulties. For example, now see, in 2002, Babar Ali started his school. At that time, only in his school, 8 students. When he started that school in 2002, he has only 8 students in his school. But afterwards, word grew and numbers grew, and now 800 students are physically present in Babar school. So when he started in 2002, he was only 9 years old and 8 students were there. But afterwards, gradually word spread, and now presently in Babar school, 800 students are physically learning. So gradually word spread and the numbers grew. Help began to come from other quarters, Babar's own teachers, monks, and the local Ramakrishna mission, sympathetic IAS officers. Now let me explain you one thing, my dear students. In Babar Ali school, IAS officers and local Ramakrishna missions monks were the teachers, and they were teaching interestingly to the students without expecting any kind of help from the Babar, without expecting any money from Babar. So IAS officers and local cops, even Babar first thought of a midday meal scheme. The rice came from his father's fields, but now with the aid of his friends in the administration, it comes from government stock. So when he initially started his very own school, midday meal scheme was there, and the rice came from his father's field. It means what? Babar Ali himself and his father are very supportive in nature, and they felt unfair things in the society, so they have started their very own school. Now see, today 9 years down the line, the school has 60 regular attendees and 220 students are roll call, and 800 students in total, with 10 volunteer teachers teaching grade 1 through 8. Now I told you people 800 students are there, and 10 volunteer teachers They are volunteers. 10 volunteer teachers are teaching to 800 students. And a little afternoon venture is now registered and recognized by the West Bengal state government, which means students graduating from Baba school are eligible to be transferred to the other high schools. So, when the children of the village and the localities nearby down with their chores and jobs at daytime, they run to attend Baba's afternoon school. They arrive in time for a Tulu Masjid's opening bell. So, those who are working outside, Babar Ali plan to start or Babar Ali started school or classes for them in the afternoon hours after completing their works. So now see, Babar Ali, when he initially started his school, so many persons supported him and contributed him. So now we are going to meet some pure, good and kind souls. Now see, we are going to discuss about the persons or the personalities who supported him to start the school. So first of all, clad in widow's white stick in a hand, Tulu Rani Hazra is an illiterate fishmonger by morning and persuading educationist by afternoon. So first of all, Rani Hazra. Rani Hazra. She is a fishmonger, illiterate fishmonger, and till today she has recruited 80 students to Babar Ali school. On fishing selling grounds of nearby villages, her job is to confront erring parents who have stopped sending their children to school and to find new students. She has recruited 80 till now. The teaching staff of 9 is made up of high school student volunteers. Mostly in Babar school, all the teachers are teenagers, and secondly, that teenage students are from high schools, and the high school volunteers. And the most educated Dabrita goes to college in Behram. Babar Ali gives lessons just the way he has heard them from his teachers. Whatever the things he studied in his class, in his 12th class, he is going to give these students. So it means what? Whatever the things are taught by his teacher to him, he just justifies and he is giving to the students. And there is no building or establishment for his school. He teaches his students under the open sky. So already we studied about that. There is no building or establishment, but still students are learning in the open sky. Yes. And some children sit in the mud, others on benches under the rough homemade shelter. The family can scratch around nearby. In every corner of the yard, groups of children can be seen studying hard. So Babar Ali changed the situation. He changed the situation of that Murshidabad. Wherever we can see the students are studying hard. It was the picture created by the Babar Ali. He is from illiterate family, but despite of all those things, all those difficulties, Babar Ali started his school and changed the situation of Murshidabad village. And now see, text. So that's all I got about Babar Ali for now. Getting to know about. Sorry. It is much easier to enroll kids who are not old enough. So class first and second are over 200 students. Class first and class second over 200 students in Babar Ali school. Class 1 and class 2. And class 8 has just 20 students. And in class 8 is just 20 students. And they study 10 subjects. 10 subjects and are mostly taught by Babar and Devita Bhattacharya. Devita is another volunteer who has been helping out for a long time now. Devita Bhattacharya helping to Babar for a long time, and it's much easier to, textbooks are free from class 1st to 5th, but for the rest of money needs to be arranged. On any given day, there are close to 400 students physically present in Babar's front end. At a time, there are 400 students physically present in its school, and it is hard to get the children to listen, being so young themselves. The narrow age gap works to our advantage, says Babar. We are more like friends, the rod is spread in my school. He behaves with students like friends, like family members. So, Babar is the person. So that's all I got about Babar Ali for now. Getting to know about a person like him makes me realize how insignificant I am and yet how lucky I am. So, that Samarpita Mukherjee Sharma, she herself thinks that I am so lucky to have like this person. So she finally salutes to his work, and even though I finished my story here, Babar Ali's story continues. He started his school in 2002, so it means what? The school is still continuing, and she finishes her story here, but she tells us that Babar Ali's story or his story is continuing. And he has not only helped out hundreds of children to get enlightened, he enlightened so many students. He encouraged them to learn, to get so many achievements. He supported him. He supported them. He encouraged them, and that's why Babar Ali is the role model. He's an ideal student for the villagers. He's an ideal for the poor people, and he enlightened the children, and he has also inspired millions of youths. Like us, Babar Ali's style is a testament to the difference that one person can make in his or her world. In this case, it was a mere child who decided to do something about a situation he felt was unfair. According to Samarpita Mukherjee Sharma, if as a family member or as a member of our society, if we feel these systems are unfair, these systems are against the people, then we can take the initiation to raise the voice against those systems. So, Babar Ali is a model for us. He is an inspiring way for us to start the revolution in our society. It is a kind of revolution Babar Ali started in Murshidabad because so many children were wandering here and there aimlessly, and so many families were illiterate, and he changed their situation. Only 16-year-old boy can change the situation. So he is a model student, and that a 9-year-old can change the world should be enough inspiration for all of us to come out of our close cocoons to help make a difference. So isn't high time that we be the change that we want to see in this world? Today Babar Ali, maybe tomorrow it could be someone from among us. And finally she tells us that we should start the revolution. If we feel that these systems these practices are worse for our society, then we can take the initiation to start the revolution. So Babar Ali is a model, and he is quite inspiring person for all the youths in our country. So, and it's not very often that we come across someone like Babar Ali coming from a small village in Murshidabad. He should be commended just for the audacity of hope, and it is this hope and the faith that he has upon himself that has helped him come all the way. So here is Babar Ali. We salute you for dreaming and making your dreams come true. And finally, she salutes him, and she tells us that Babar Ali is an inspiring person for us, and she salutes him once again for making his dreams come true. So in this story, we have learned so many things. Babar is a model student, and so many difficulties he has faced in his life, and you know that afterwards Babar Ali changed the situation of that village, and when he started his school in 2002 there were only 8 students in his school, but gradually numbers grew, and now 800 students are physically studying in his school, and so many contributors were helped him and contributed to achieve his goal. So Rani Hazra is a woman, she is an illiterate fishmonger, and she has recruited 80 students in Babarali school. So first and second class in Babarali school, first and second class only 200 students are there, and in 8th class only 20 students are there. But total number of students in his school is 800 students, and most probably they are studying 10 subjects in the school. So these are the things we have studied here, and thank you for watching the video.